Good morning, everyone. I do hope traders and investors alike were green yesterday. This video is mostly to recap our day in our trading room, but I do want to take a minute and mention that next week we have some big numbers coming out. We have the PCE, the ISM, and the biggest, in my opinion, is the GDP. And the reason for that is because 2 consecutive quarters of a lowering GDP, you are in a recession. That's the definition for a recession. Now, the MBER does not follow, their rules are not so basic. So you may not see the White House coming out to actually say we're in a recession, but I guarantee you a lot of economists and, uh, these bigger guys from a lot of these banks will be coming out talking about it if we have a lower GDP than the first quarter. So, 2 quarters of lowering GDP, and of course, our first quarter was less than our fourth quarter of last year. And so, if the second quarter is less than the first quarter of this year, then we're going to hear that we're in a recession. But like I say, the NBER, which is the National Bureau of Economics, does not exactly follow such a basic rule. So we may or may not hear it from the White House. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what the Fed has to say, but there will be economists coming out talking about this if this numbers are lower. So let's get right into what our day yesterday. So in pre-market, I put out a video for everybody to see. We put it out on YouTube, the Facebook, Twitter got it. Just trying to get it to as many people as possible who are trying to trade. If you're a trader, you may want to subscribe so you can get these alerts like this. And this is not textbook. Don't get me wrong, but we put out this head and shoulders pattern. And like I say, it's not textbook at all. It's got some decent volume characteristics. I talk more about that in the video. We'll have a link in the description so you can go check that out of the pluses and minuses of this particular pattern of, not just the pattern in general, but this particular pattern for the SPY on the 1 hour chart. But you can see it right there to get another view at it. So we know we had that. The market just looked really perky, and we talked about it in the Discord that I thought the market looked perky, with the pattern. Could get a nice push here, we could have a good day. Didn't really expect to get, we went vertical. We were watching the 384.10, which is actually a fib level, but it is actually the beginning of a gap as well. So we knew we could see some resistance there. So we got a nice flag. We pushed up, got a nice flag. But when we took that level out, man, we just went vertical. And as you can see, my 5-minute strategy just did not confirm. I did get some scalps in there. But the 5-minute strategy that I share and we use in the Discord didn't quite confirm over top the levels like we would have liked. There was some decent flag in here. There were still opportunities. But in pre-market, we talked about how the market looked really perky. We had a good chance. I also liked, other than this gap up, I liked how flat that it traded. It wasn't all choppy and bouncing around. We traded pretty flat in pre-market after the initial gap up, which I always like to see that. I don't like having a gap up to deal with. But we traded pretty flat, so I did like seeing that. And then we pushed up, got a flag here at the 5 on the 9 when that popped up. Like I say, I was able to get some scalps in this, but it happened so quick that they were just scalps. No really big wins at all. A good day though. But we bounced back and forth, so I told the Discord that I would, we'd probably get a nice move, and we got that. After seeing such a big move, and knowing that we were coming into the Russell, the rebalancing of the Russell, that there would be some movement at the end of the day. And after seeing this big move, I actually explained that I thought we would just chop around right to the end of the day, and that's exactly what happened. So, that's really good that, I just like seeing when the calls and the plan works out. Love to see it when a plan comes together. So we had a good move there. We were expecting the consumer sentiment at 10. which the numbers come in lower. Didn't know how the market would act with that. The market handled it, digested it good, and kept right on about its business. Seemed like it didn't even care. We were also keeping an eye on not being political at all, because we're here to make money. It's got nothing to do with politics about us getting here and trading, and we leave politics out of the Discord. Nobody needs hurt feelings due to that. But we were keeping an eye on the Roe versus Wade decision, expecting some possible riots or stuff like that, which could affect the market. So we were definitely glued to the squawks, trying to see if there was anything happening that may discourage the market from continuing to push. And we just had an awesome day. Now let's talk about some of the opportunities that presented themselves. We had some news come across the squawk about some ship in Russia and Canada, and this ended up pushing uranium stocks up. And we had just seen a big order come in for CCJ, and just as soon as I was able to go over the numbers to make sure what I was looking at was an open order, was a bullish opening order, should say, and so we continued to push here. So you can see it started out with a good day, but when that news come in, man, it just popped. We had, I know at least one member was able to capitalize from this because he heard me call the option flow, and then he took the trade without even hearing the news. And he asked me later, well, was there any news on it? And told him what was happening. So he was able to benefit from that, which is awesome. CCL was also on the radar coming into the day. We heard them, their numbers come out. I didn't even check the numbers, but we knew that it was moving up on what I'm guessing now is better than expected earnings numbers. So it was pushing up on that. And this also can give you insight on stocks like Norwegian Cruise Line, other stocks, even possibly the airlines that are in the same kind of travel sector, transportation / travel type sector. So so when you get news like that on one, even if you miss that move, sometimes you may be able to catch some rotations right into the whole sector in general that the stock happens to lie in. Then when you had stocks like Microsoft, which we called several times yesterday, Microsoft, Amazon were strong. So I'm also looking. I want to point this out. I'm also looking for stocks that, going into Monday, that held, at the end of the day, that pushed over top the previous high of the day and held it. So that's good. One thing I do want to point out as well is, numbers like this on Microsoft. So 266.73 was called before Microsoft got to 266.73, which is a big help for traders, knowing, be like, hey, all right, I'm in this, I'm making good money, but I have this level coming up. I need to see if I get a reaction here, be ready to take my profits and look for another entry. So, and you can see we bounced around, but finally, after double tapping that area, we pulled back. Now, after the initial run up, which was Microsoft was really strong here, didn't show the relative strength the rest of the day as versus the S&P or the SPY. You've seen the SPY take its levels out and grind up all day, just pulled back and put in like a little cup area here, but it pulled back, so it didn't have the relative strength that the SPY had. Let's take a look at Amazon. So we called Amazon a few times. It traded up. You can see it put its high in, pulled back, and continued to grind the rest of the day. But let's go back one more time. Let's look at the SPY one more time. So this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for, here in the Discord, we like to find the leaders. We want to see who's leading. We want to see who's leading, preferably with high option flow coming in on it in the direction that we're looking to trade, bullish or bearish. A stock can be leading on the way down as well. We're looking for volume. At least it doesn't have to be, we don't have to close at the end of the day with even high volume. We're looking for high volume at the time we plan on taking a trade. It doesn't have to be, double the daily average volume. We could be looking at, all right, we've traded, this is just an example. We traded 1 million shares by this time, but today, by 10 o'clock, we've got a million and a half in. So that's letting us know, at least during that time that we're looking at taking the trade, that we are getting relative volume. Relative volume means extra volume, over usual volume. So I hope just try to simplify everything. Let's take a look at Apple. Apple had a decent day, not as great. Like at open, it pushed, but you can see how it fell right back down. So, once again, this is not a relative strength stock. This is, Apple was not leading it, come all the way back down, tested pre-market levels. Now at open, sure, it looked good, pushed above our level. We were calling 141.24 at the open, saying, hey, watch that level. Got up there, took it out a little bit, and just got rejected. So this is, Apple yesterday, there's a lot of days Apple can carry the market all on its own, but yesterday it did not. You can see the weakness here versus the SPY. So you can see the lack of relative strength that Apple had versus the SPY. Let's take a look at NVIDIA. All these were on the radar, obviously. So at some points in times in the day, we've seen the Qs a little perkier than the SPY. So, and when we see that, that tells us to, keep an eye on tech, and we are all about trading tech. We will trade anything, whatever's moving, that has liquidity. Because options, you need liquidity. Liquidity is very important. There's no need to even think about trading a stock that doesn't have liquidity into the options. If you have a wide spread, don't trade it. There's other opportunities out there. But you can see NVIDIA pushed up and pulled back too as well. It didn't have that relative strength that we were looking for in the midday. But I do want to point out that NVIDIA is trading a lot better than the semis. The semis have been kind of getting beat on a little bit here. So on the days that we're strong, the semis have not been as strong. But as for the semis, AMD seems much weaker overall. Had a decent day yesterday. It didn't even close above the highs. Like I said, one thing we're looking for coming into Monday, we want stocks that closed or not. So had overtaken its previous high when the Russell rebalanced, which we were totally expecting yesterday. But when that happened, we're looking for stocks that closed up higher. Let's take a look at Meta. So you can see Meta here has taken out its daily high. Still didn't have the relative strength as the SPY, but better than a lot of the others. Was able to hold in, put its high in, was able to chop around and hold in pretty well, and was able to push up. Considering that I've been looking at Meta in a bearish mindset, 'cause it's been down below that wedge. If it's able to get back in that wedge, maybe we can try to let's look at things to look for on this one. So right now we got a high, a low. Let's see if we can put in a higher high, which would be it's a big push to ask for. But that, we need a change. We need to start seeing higher highs before we get overly too bullish on a lot of this stuff, a lot of these assets. I do want to point out, let's take a look at the triple Qs for a minute on the daily chart. Look at the histogram, getting a little spot of green in there. MACD's crossing. So that's a good sign. Look at the size of this bar right here versus the size of that bar. So just an example, so far the MACD is looking good here. We are right into the 295.48 area, very close to that. And we have a little bit farther to go, but once again, those are numbers that are called in the Discord to keep your eye out. We're constantly talking about your 9s and your 20s on your daily, making sure you're checking your daily charts, and constant reminders about checking your time frames, your other time frames before you enter. Just getting a lot of the setups these last 2 days have been hard to get everything. Some days things just line right up. You can get your MACD where you want it. Seems like the confirmation candles have been coming why the MACDs have been rolling over, and the trades have been risky for the type of trade that the strategy that we've been trading. Sometimes you have to you always got to have those backup plans and have like a B strategy. And for me, a B strategy is scalping. I love the scalp. let's take a look at PLTR. It's another one that we were looking at. We follow this one in the mornings on our day trading ideas videos. Uh, Hopefully you're catching them in the morning, because there's a lot of good information that can give you a decent idea of where we're heading. It's a very early and pre-market video, but it gives you a decent idea. But look at the MACD here. MACD is looking good on the daily. Nice strong move up above the 50 here. And of course, we'll be covering this in another video for the trade ideas video this weekend as well. But a nice push up here. So to put this high in, pull back, retested the 50, and this thing just ripped. It just grinded up all day. So that, at this point of the day, it wasn't showing that relative strength that we were looking for. But after it got started, it just grinded high and higher and higher and higher. So at the end of the day, it actually did show relative strength, versus the SPY. So at the end of the day, this thing turned into a leader. So we're definitely going to be keeping our eye on it. Another one that I had recently this week, I took CRM. I only put it on for a small period of time, and going through charts this morning, I seen that CRM has made a nice recovery. Let's go look at the daily. We may get it back on the charts. You can see a big move here above all your major moving averages except for your 200, but we're back above everything there. Probably going to be keeping an eye on, so you can see this falling wedge here. So we were expecting a breakout, and when we got it, we come up and chopped around. The whole market ended up pulling back, so we pulled back here, but we were expecting a pop off that falling wedge. The whole market ended up pulling back, so it pulled back with it. It basically, if you look at the SPY, that's what everything did. It went up, base for a few days, then we pulled back down. But this is a big move here, so this is one that we can watch. I'm not going to take time to do it now, but we need to get some trend lines on here and see how we line up. We'll probably be putting this one back on to the day trading watch list. I'm doing all I can do to keep that video short, and it just keeps getting longer. We keep adding more stuff. We still have more sentiment indicators to put on, so we can we can start teaching everybody more about some more sentiment indicators that we use here in the Discord. But that's about all. This video is getting a little long now, so that's about all we really need to cover today. If we're doing anything here that's helping you, please like and subscribe. That's a huge help right there to help support us. If the live market commentary in the Discord is awesome. It'll help give you a whole new view of the market, especially if you've been struggling. If you feel like you don't understand the market, this live market commentary is huge. It's a big help. We also have a Facebook group, totally free educational information with a very good group. It's not like a lot of these other groups, not mentioning their names, but where they just bust on each other. If a new trader asks a question, he just gets ragged on. This is not that type of group. This is a group for people who want to learn, people who want to make money. So, who want to learn about the market, learn how to turn that market into your own personal ATM. That's one thing that we really work on here in the Discord is, you don't have to want to be a day trader to be in our Discord. You can find plenty of uses there, but our Discord is it is more purposed for people who want to learn to trade for a living, because you have to have a little different mindset, and we work on stuff like that. But you can follow us on Twitter, on Instagram. We're posting charts, we're posting catalyst information. Join the Facebook group. There's a lot of good information in there, a lot of good free educational material in there. So simple. Go down to the descriptions. There's some links in there. It's free to follow us on, join the Facebook group, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, like and subscribe here. That's huge for support. I hope everybody has an awesome weekend. We'll try to get some more information out for everybody so they can keep a decent eye on what's going on in the market and what we're expecting. Thank you, and have a good weekend. See you in the trading room.